welcome to the third video in my spoon carving series. If you want to find out how to win this spoon, stick around to the end of the video and I'll tell you. Okay, well, welcome back to the workshop. Today we are finishing this spoon. This is our knuckle spoon that we started. It's got that really cool, I don't know if you can see that, yeah, that really cool knuckle profile there. Very shallow bowl, and shallow where the neck and the bowl meet. It's a little wider here to keep that strength, but it's got that curve that kind of comes underneath and does that. So it's got a really neat profile to it. I really like this spoon. Okay, so I just took some time before the video to really strop my knives good, and that is the key to finishing. I've been asked to do another video on how I take care of my knives, so I'll do that in the future. I'll tell you how to strop. But anyways, so you want to strop really nicely, really well. I'm going to use my Mora 106 that I rehandled some years ago, and I'm just going to start taking off this square piece because we don't want a square edge on our spoon. And then you just do little push cuts to round it off. And in here, this is kind of the tricky part because there was a knot there. And we just want to smooth that transition. Smoothing the transitions, cutting off any dark spots that might be dirty spots. Oh yeah, and so when it's dry, it's so much easier to come in and carve those tricky bits because you get so much less of the grain running out on you. My knife is really sharp. So even on some points where I'm going against the grain, it'll slice across that grain because it's so sharp and the wood is dry. I did a really pretty good job last time of really making this bowl smooth on the back side. So there's not a lot of tool marks to cut off. Mostly just any dark spots where the dirt from your hands gets on or something. There's really not much carving to do on this spoon actually. Mostly that was that little knuckle spot and under the knuckle. To really shape that part and make that part in there smooth. because it's where the grain, or where the knot was. So it starts to get a little tricky because the grain starts running in different directions. And you really just have to follow that grain and trust that it's going to turn out. You see there's little spots where the grain has blown out, and we just have to carve those flat so that, and you know, you could do this for hours and hours and hours if you wanted to finish your spoon totally smooth, and some people do. I'm going to show you a little technique at the end here. It's a bit of a cheat on how to really do a nice smooth knife finish. And right here we're just taking off the dark spots. And because we left it overnight that first time, we didn't, it did most of its, I don't know what you call that, oxidizing, where it changes color. It kind of did all that already. So often this is the stage where we have to carve all that off. But I don't think we really need to. Well, I know we don't need to because it's not all there. It's not that dark yellow color where we would normally start to carve it off. And if you're good enough, you can finish your spoon the first day, I guess, and not have to come back and do all these little finishing cuts. And then you'd have kind of a yellow spoon, which would be cool. And I know some carvers do that, but I like to come back to it. It's just a little bit more, of a little more control. Over some of those cuts. What you don't want is your spoon to look dirty. I'm going to leave this little bit of that dark right along there. Oh, you can see that there, yeah. That's from just under the bark. So I'm going to leave that there. It just gives the spoon a little bit more character. Okay, I think the handle's pretty much done. This little part right here. It's just a miserable day outside. So much rain. Perfect day for being inside and carving. Okay. Handle's done. There's just a little bit of blowout in this little part. And there we go. It's just that tricky little spot. So here we're not taking off anything major, we're just smoothing, taking off corners. Okay, good. And we'll go to the file knife and we'll just get out any, it's not much here to carve. Oh, it's nice and sharp, makes it nice get really nice curls. You can really see though that there is a little bit of discoloration. And we're gonna want to carve that out because we don't want the spoon to look blotchy. I don't know if you can see how well you can see that discoloration there. You can see. We're just gonna try and get most of that out. If we can't, I'm not gonna worry about it because it's just part of the natural process. And I've actually done some spoons where I've left that and it's ended up looking really cool. Okay, so that's about all I can do for the shallow part of the bowl. Oh, it's really nice and smooth there. It's great. Yeah, and then we're going to move to the Ben Orford knife just to get in this sort of where it gets a little steeper. Oh man, when this knife is sharp, it just feels, I know this is dry wood, but it feels like I'm cutting through wet wood because it's just so smooth. There's just a little dark edge right there. We're just gonna carve that off because that's where my fingers were dirty or something. And we don't want any of that kind of thing in our finished spoon. You don't want to give somebody a dirty spoon. And I'm just gonna soften that edge where the handle meets the bowl. Yeah. Okay, so that is a finished carving spoon. The carving part is finished now. So we actually did most of it that other day. There's always a little bit to smooth out, always a little more. But you could just keep doing this until all you have left is a toothpick. I'm not gonna do that. Sometimes I like to just come at the end of the handle with my spoon knife upside down. I've not seen anybody do this, but I find it just rounds it off so nicely. And you really just remove all those tool marks. Okay, and I think it's time now for the little trick I mentioned at the beginning. Basically, you take a piece of wood that's harder, or at least as hard. This is a piece of apple. And I just carved it into there's little parts of it. There's a rounded edge for going inside the bowl. There's a notch for doing the handle. And there's a little spooned part for doing the end of the handle. And basically what we do is we take our piece of wood that's harder. Some people use other things. People don't do this very. Oh, almost missed. This is where we had that little accident that last time. I wouldn't call it an accident, but remember we took out a little extra wood, didn't mean to. And so I just want to make sure that that part here doesn't have any little bits of blowout, and it does. So that's why we made this part of the spoon so shallow. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's gone now. Take this, go to the inside of it, and just start pushing as hard as you can and just burnishing those edges. And now if you look at it, it's really shiny on the inside. And now it's just the handle is a little more shiny. Well, I'll try to take some B-roll after. Oh, it's looking really cool, because then now the light just reflects off of it so much nicer. Okay, and then take the end. Okay, so that has now been burnished. Love the profile of that handle, that is cool. Knuckle spoon. Okay, so we're done with that. And now, this is the finishing part, the last little bit. Sometimes I use a combination of walnut oil and beeswax, but today, I'm just doing walnut oil. Just pour a little bit into the spoon, bowl, and just get it all over my hands, I don't care. Just get it all over that spoon. Nice and shiny. Okay. So there it is. Nice and shiny. It's covered, it's all wet. So now what we're gonna do, let it sit and dry for a minute. And then I'll wipe it down with a paper towel. Take my piece of paper towel, wipe all the excess off, now that I know it's in a bunch of nooks and crannies and everywhere it's supposed to be. And that's it. That's the whole spoon all finished. Thanks for watching my third video in my spoon carving series. If you want to win this spoon, all you gotta do is subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below telling me what you're gonna use this spoon for, and when I hit 100 subscribers, I will give it away. If you want to see more of my carving videos, you can check right here. If you want to see any of my other vlogs and stuff, check out this one, and make sure you subscribe if you want to win the spoon. Thank you so much.